since we've seen anything like it. If you haven't applied the Windows patches, you are in trouble. The Microsoft patches from March, the key patch is Microsoft MS017-010. That is the patch for the vulnerability in the server message block, or the Samba protocol, and that's what it's exploiting to spread across networks. So the problem really is just once one machine gets exposed, and it looks like, for example, this morning it spread from Telefonica, the telephone company in Spain, got hit very hard with it this morning. It spread from there to FedEx literally when an employee that was infected went to FedEx and plugged in. And once that infected Telefonica laptop hit FedEx's network, it spread through FedEx's network globally in an hour. So it's pretty serious. There was very little AV detection when it was first discovered this morning, when it first started hitting. It looks like it started spreading about 6 a.m. GMT this morning, so 10 p.m. here, but it was pretty low key. Nobody really noticed it because it's a worm and it was just starting. And then it got really loud. The peak was about noon GMT, about 4 a.m. this morning here. And it's been building since. Well, it's been staying at that kind of peak level of activity, but at that time there were only about six out of the 70 products we tested that detected it. And as of right now, almost all major antivirus, next gen or not, everybody's detecting the samples that are spreading. And the good news is it's not likely to be as polymorphic as a lot of other malware. A lot of times you go, oh, if you detect this one, well, what about the variant that comes out 10 minutes from now? Because it's a worm, it doesn't have as much variability, so it's quite easy to detect, and it's not likely to change much unless they introduce a new version into the wild and it starts to spread. So at the moment, if you keep your whatever protection you have up to date, the only one I don't know if it's detecting it is the Windows Defender, which is just genuinely awful. But everybody else seems to be detecting it quite well. And then, of course, the real fix is to get that Microsoft patch in place, because this will not be the only malware that's going to do this exact same thing. This is going to keep happening now that that code is leaked, the alleged NSA exploit. It's not like other criminals aren't going to copycat and spread their malware with it. So the real important thing is to get that patch in place. So with that out of the way, I will invite Rob up for a minute. We'll talk about a couple of upcoming events in the community. And I think you have a call for volunteers. Is that right?
BC Security Day, for those of you who have been at the previous ones, last June, last November, full day of presentations. Formerly just by provincial staff, but this time around, Gary has asked some additional industry people in. And this time, the topic is Internet of Things, very timely. Really interesting in November to see, in addition just to the presentations and what work they're doing, is to see how people in the government, in different government offices, are approaching security and security research. Gary is really building something, I think, that is going to be a significant resource for us. So I would like to support it. It is June the 8th. They have this huge long URL that is, which I can read off. We'll try and get it posted to the website so that you can see it. When you go and actually see it, interestingly enough, they posted this call for people to sign up and that sort of thing, and they've posted the agenda for last November. And we pointed this out to Gary, and Gary said, yes, I know, we can't do anything about it because that was posted before the election was called, and then the election was called, and when the election is called, all the web pages on the government websites have to be frozen. So they couldn't change it, so they couldn't update it. So interesting, yes, when you get to the page and you see that it's, last year, November, don't worry about it. Yes, you are on the right page. In any case, if you want to register, send an email to security.day@gov.bc.ca with the subject line Vancouver registration. And that's basically all you need to know. Anyways, January the 8th, it is all day. Sorry, June the 8th, yes. Not January, yes. June the 8th, our meeting, that's Thursday, and our meeting is on the following day, the 9th, next month. And, and Van City Sec is moving theirs around, so it's going to be like the Wednesday night. So it's going to be Wednesday night, pub crawl. Thursday is the security day. Friday is our meeting, so, you know, you can have quite a bit of fun there. For those...
June 16th will be the Agora the following week.
That's right. And speaking of Agora, I think Ernie is coming up to make a long weekend out of the security day in our meeting and that sort of thing. So anyway, but we also would like to have some volunteers to help out. We need a few people who are willing to get up early enough to be down there at 7:30 and set up, which is just putting out the swag that the government people bring. That's it. And ticking off people on who have registered on the registration list, and other people who are basically manning the registration desk all day, which only means really that you get to sit nearest the coffee for the day. So, you know, if you can volunteer, if you're planning to be there and can volunteer, see me, send me an email, and we can do that. And
Yeah, that sounds good. Garland's apparently on holiday, so he normally goes through our upcoming events list, but we just posted it to the website. So if you want to know about other things other than the Agora and Security Day, which are probably our two top priorities as a group, and that we like to always organize a group of us that go down to Seattle for the Agora, but obviously wanting volunteers and wanting to support the province's initiatives with Security Day, we'd really appreciate any of you that can help and participate. But there's other things going on as well. I know we have USNICS we're actually hosting in Vancouver this year. If you get a chance to go to the USNICS Computer Security Symposium, it'll be here in town, which is a nice opportunity to not have to spend money to go a long way away to go to an excellent conference. So there's some exciting opportunities coming along the next few months. Check infosecbc.org, our website, and all that's posted on there. Other brief notes, and before we just do some introductions, we like to go around the room, just have everybody kind of say who they are and maybe where they're from or what they're hoping to accomplish by joining us. But in the back corner on this little table on the side, there's a bunch of books that I'm giving away because I'm moving offices and I have no more room for a bookshelf in my office. So absolutely free. Take whatever you like. Please take them all so I don't have to carry them home. But that doesn't mean they're not good books. If you're studying for the CISSP, there's one of the CISSP green books back there. There's all kinds of other nonfiction, fiction, and computer nerd books, so take whatever you like. And we'll briefly go around the room, and then I'll introduce our speaker, and we can learn about some your experiences doing security testing at Ping. So, and I kind of already started, but I'm Chester, and I'm with Sophos, and I do research work, and I live in an airplane.
Michael Jones, Information Risk Management, ICBC.
Information Risk Management, ICBC.
Yang Yu, I'm the speaker today. I'm from Ping Identity.
I'm Brandon, UFE student, hoping to get into malware research.
I'm Zoaib, and I'm a student at Kwantlen Polytechnic, and I'm interested in security.
My name is Brett Woodsky. I'm a University of the Fraser Valley student, and I'm also interested in security.
Hello, I'm Kevin. I'm also at Kwantlen Polytechnic University in Surrey, and I'm also interested in computer security.
I'm Dan Harris. I'm the computer science program head at University of the Fraser Valley, and today I'm also representing Kwantlen Polytechnic University.
Emran Elevids, I'm IT security manager with Sierra Wireless.
My name's Devin. I recently joined Hootsuite, doing something related to security, and I like CTFs and writing exploits and lots of fun stuff.
Joaquin Puga, with Global Relay. I am a firewall administrator.
Hi, I'm Jonathan. I'm a co-op student at TELUS, interested in security. My name is Isaiah. I'm a security contractor at TELUS as well.
My name is Jason. I'm an independent, currently with TELUS.
Hi, I'm Henry. I'm studying at Quantum Polytechnic University. Just interested in security in general.
Bonnie Wong, working for Marine Learning Systems, interested in security.
Dragana Panic, Manager Information Security, Vancity Credit Union. And I don't think the mic's on.
Yes. The mic is on, but it only goes to
Test.
the video feed.
Got it.
So please speak up.
Okay.
So those in the room
I will get
can
up
hear
to
you.
I don't need it. My name is Fabien Trochusek.
Because the video feed.
Yes. I work in TELUS Corporate Security, Lawful Access.
My name is Victor, a recent cybersecurity graduate student from NYIT, and I'm job hunting.
My name is Riham. I'm a student at U of V, and I'm interested in security.
Hi, my name is Sharon. I'm a student from UFV as well, and I'm interested in security.
Hi, my name is Arun Mogus. I'm also a UFV student. I am also interested in security.
Hi, my name is Kian. I'm a security consultant who works for TELUS Digital.
Hello, my name is Vahid Furushani. I'm a security advisor working for D3 Security.
Hi, I'm Vignesh, cybersecurity analyst for D3 Security.
Hi, my name is Ryan. I'm a security specialist at ACL.
Hi, my name is Ricardo. I'm an independent security consultant.
Tanya Bengines, Central One.
Hi, I'm Martin. I work at a credit union.
My name is Dave. I look after GRC for Raymond James.
I'm Cameron. I'm a student at UFE, and I'm interested in security.
Hi, I'm Sunny Randall. I'm the QA manager at VivoNet.
I'm Michael Carlos. I am the software development manager at VivoNet.
Hey, I'm Lloyd Jura, and I'm director of security at VivoNet. And for those who are interested, I have a posting for a security analyst. So just go onto the vivonet.com website and or talk to one of these guys if I'm not here.
Lloyd is also the person to speak to if you want to speak to the group.
So with that, we are here on June 9. We'll be here, and then we break for the summer break. When we come for the summer break in September, we're at SAP for our AGM.
Don Gursky, independent, and I'm helping Tina Yu on the membership for this group.
Hi, Karen Pang with Ion Group.
Hi, I'm Furkan. I'm from UFE, and I'm interested in development and security.
Hey, Dhiren Thermal from SAP as a security engineer.
I'm Srikanth Ramu from SAP, and Young is a great presenter. I was his former colleague.
Greg Whistlow from SAP Security Manager.
Dean Snyder, interested in security.
Richard Lam, security engineer for Pay by Phone.
Hi, I'm Tanesh Manjrekar. I'm a student at UFE and I'm here to learn.
Hi, I'm Vishal Mazurkar. I'm also a student at UFE.
Hi, I'm Janam and I'm a student at UFE.
Hi, my name is Vishal and I'm a CI student at UFE and also currently seeking co-op opportunities in cyber security field.
Hi, I'm Vic. I'm Renji from SAP.
And I'm Stanley Albrecht with D3 Security as well.
Except Rob hasn't introduced himself. Hi, I'm Rob. We should do the jobs thing because a couple of people were asking about jobs.
Oh, job postings? Yeah, good idea. I forgot. Does anybody have jobs to advertise? Oh, I see Hootsuite.
I'll also introduce myself. I'm George Pajari. I'm CISO at Hootsuite and the video guy for SecSig. But we're looking for junior to intermediate GRC analysts, people that have experience with SOC 2 audits, ISO 27K compliance, setting up policies and doing internal audit. So come see me during the break or after if you're looking for something in that realm. I'm hoping to have an engineering position open in the fall, but right now, since Devin just joined us, I've got all the talent I need this year.
You're just helping. Does anybody else have any roles they want to promote? Okay. Anyone else? All right, I'm just going to make sure I get the title correct here. So I guess we're ready to start the presentation now, and I'd like to introduce you all to Yang Yu from Ping Identity, and he's going to talk to us about the security testing for DevOps, and I think this should be a really interesting topic from my perspective, because this is a thing that we see time and time again not done well. And it's incredibly important. So please give Yang a round of applause, and we'll start the presentation.
Do I need this? Hello, everyone. Thank you for coming to this presentation. It's good to see some friends in the audience. Today, I'm going to talk about security functional testing. My name is Yang Yu. First, a little bit information about myself. Although many of you may not know me, I actually joined this group 16 years ago. I see some disbelief on your face. Is Tina in the audience? Probably not. Actually, I got some proof. This is the email I sent, first inquiry email I sent to this group 16 years ago. As you can see, that time I'm still a student at SFU, desperately interested in security. Why I say desperately? Because that time, no professor at SFU has a research area in security. But my professor, Tico, was kind enough to allow me to do my own thing in security. And I came across this group on the internet, and I was super excited. I sent email to Rui, and Rui forwarded to Tina, and Tina registered me. So I see many students in audience today, so it's really great that you can come to this kind of events exposed to security. This is a really good way to get yourself started in security. As you noticed, at that time, Tina is already doing a membership for this group. So fast forward today, I think Tina is still dedicating her time and energy to membership. And I find this level of dedication is really amazing. So could you please help me give a big applause to Tina and the other long-term volunteer for this group. Back to myself. I'm in a previous life, I'm the senior software developer in SAP, and Craig is my colleague there. At that time, I was responsible for the authentication plugin in BOE, the Business Object Enterprise Platform. Right now, I'm the principal security engineer in Ping Identity, responsible for our SaaS solution. As you can see, I'm the security engineer, so you don't worry about sales pitch from me today. But I'm just curious, a quick show of your hand. If your company are using Ping product, you're the Ping customer, could you please raise your hand? I only see one here. Okay, thank you. I hope my presentation today can give you more confidence in Ping product. But more importantly, this presentation is prepared in my own time. So the Veo Express here has nothing to do with any organization I'm associated with, especially my employer. Also, it's important to know that we are still in the process of implementing security functional testing. So feel free to ask lots of questions and share your experience so that we can learn from each other. And also, there may be some questions that I cannot answer if they are deemed too sensitive, but I will try my best. Here is the agenda today. First, I'm going to talk about a few things on application security, the challenges we are facing, some case studies using real-world example, And then I will give a formal description on what is security functional testing. DBR, this started from the most recent DBR report from Verizon. DBR is, I think, stands for Data Breach Investigations Report. Basically, this chart describes the number of attack that caused the breach and the incident, then grouped by the attack patterns. For Verizon, one important contribution they made is over time they noticed most attacks can be divided, will fall into one of 9 attack patterns. And here you can see this listed on the left-hand side, like web application attacks, point of sale, physical theft or loss, crimeware, denial service, etc. Maybe I should clarify a little bit the difference between breach and the incidents. Breach in this context, according to the report, basically means incident that caused data loss. Security incident that where the exposure of the data is disclosed to some third party. And of course, this is really a conceptual model. It doesn't necessarily mean this is the development methodology. The basic idea is, it doesn't matter whether you use waterfall or agile, you still need to have a requirement phase. You still need to design, right? So the basic idea is, during those phases, you should have corresponding security activities to embed it to those phases so that you can build security into the development lifecycle. For DevOps and Agile, I'm going to talk more later. There are different ways to do this, but the concepts are the same. So having get a basic understanding of importance of AppSec and what's the meat of AppSec, we can talk about the challenges. So this chart is based on the about 7 years data we collected in Ping, based on about 500 vulnerabilities we tracked over the years. It tells us the effectiveness of different security activities. Let me go through the list. Some may not be very obvious. For security review, basically means once the feature is complete, secure engineer will come in and look at the code, do a code review. Then we manually play with the feature to see if there's any security issues. So you can see it's kind of a gray box testing, but it's really a manual process. Internal report is mainly from the internal team. Static scan is mainly a static analysis using some commercial tools like Veracode or Fortify. Customer report, this is the one we want to avoid. These are the report from customer. Not necessarily as a secure vulnerability. Sometimes they come in as just a regular bug report. And once upon closer investigation, we may find, oh, this is have some security implication. Third-party alert is mainly about third-party component. I think many of you, if you work on AppSec, you know third-party components could be a major threat. So we monitor different components and create alert, basically fix them if there's any security issue. Code review is just a secure code review. Dynamic scan is the dynamic analysis like burp, AppScan. External assessment, every year we engage the external security firm to do external assessment. Publication investigation, sometimes researchers, they publish papers or web posts. So if they have some implication on our product, we will investigate as well. Occasionally, we engage security researchers. We collaborate to test our product. And I think design review and threat modeling are self-explanatory. So as you can see,
just curious, the last 3 items or something like that, do you think that's a reflection of those processes not being all that mature and not used a lot, related to their value to this process or this overall graph? Or?
No, there's a good reason for it. I will cover that point. Yeah, actually, I can answer that question right now. So one point I missed here is this is the SDL, right? Very often you hear people say, we want to move left. When we do security, we want to move left. So basically, it means instead of catching security issues during the release phase, for example, through penetration testing, we want to catch that problem during the implementation phase through, for example, static analysis. But very often, you will notice in a conference or on a web post, most often the measurement or metric stops here. If we want to more further left, it's really hard. You hear people show you some data, say, we captured this many security issues using threat model or through the requirement analysis. Why? I think it's hard for a reason, because it's hard to measure those effort, hard to measure those effectiveness. It's easy to see, oh, penetration testing, we found a vulnerability. It's easy to see through static analysis, we have so many findings. But how do you quantify the effectiveness of security design review? Very often, the security team's input comes in the form of like comment in the design doc, right? How do you measure those efforts and how to quantify the effectiveness? So that's back into your question. That's one reason that you see it's very low, because although we spend quite a amount of effort there, but there's not much data to show the effort.
Difference in the breakdown between the static scan and the code review, and also you mentioned there's some code review and the security review. What's the difference between the three? How do they?
For static scan, it's pretty clear. Whenever an issue is identified by our static analysis tool, we will create and then we will do a triage, and we find if it's a real issue, although the possibility is quite low, then we will create a JIRA ticket, and then we will set field as a static scan.
Source code analysis, and
yes.
the other one is manual, the one that is labeled code review.
Which other one? Security review?
Code review.
Code review is usually when developer engage us, we do a code review
manually
through some tools.
Okay.
It's quite a different process.
Okay.
Yeah, feel free to ask us questions, because I don't think I have that many slides today. Yeah.
This is just the number of vulnerabilities that were found. What about criticality? Do you see a difference in criticality between, let's say, design reviews and all the others?
Yeah, that's the next slide I'm going to answer. In this slide, it's very similar to previous one. I changed the filter to only show the important ones. So in Ping, we categorize different security issues based on the severity. Critical, important, moderate, and low. So in this slide, I only show the ones about that equal to important and critical. The purpose is to see, because through all the effort, we really want to see which one that had the real impact. We're really interested in the secure vulnerabilities that really matter, right? So here we only show the important and critical. As you can see, the security review grew bigger. The portion of the pie for security review grew bigger. And for static scan and dynamic scan, they're here. So basically, in the previous slide, they account for, I think this is the static scan. And where's dynamic scan? Yeah, this is dynamic scan. So altogether, they account for like 21%. And now if we focus on the important ones, they only account for 7%, less than 8%. So, question? Go ahead.
How do they determine important?
The source of data is from the security vulnerabilities we tracked over years in Ping identity. And the way we determine the severity is we have our documentation on how to determine the severity. For example, for critical one, that means the ones that will compromise the server system. For low one, that means I forgot the definition. Basically means it's trivial. It won't be in the default configuration or has a very small impact. So based on that definition, this is how we categorize different severities. So the reason I want to mention the 7%.
How do you rank them as important? Do you use any standard methodology, or how do you normalize between different tools that may have different scoring
This
models?
is not from tool. This severity is set by security engineers.
So if you're
It's
using
our
a
internal policy.
if you're using a static code analysis tool and it outputs a severity, you renormalize that to your own internal
We totally
scale?
ignore that. Well, when we
Okay.
try as issues, we used those important ones flagged by the tool. But when we determine the severity in a Jira ticket, we base on our own evaluation because
Evaluation is not based on anything like CVSS or
no,
CV,
we
or
have
it's
our own
internal.
policy.
Okay.
Other questions? Okay, the main message I want to convey here is very often whenever people say, oh, I want to establish my AppSec program, first thing people would think, oh, what tool I should buy, or what static analysis tool I should buy, or dynamic tool I should buy. I'm not saying that those are not important, but they have you should be aware that they have a very limited effectiveness. They only account a very small subset of the real security issues. Actually, this pie probably is only includes security issues that we are aware of. There's probably more, right? So taking into that consideration, the tools, we shouldn't have the illusion on the effectiveness of the tools. That's the main message. So previously, we described the effectiveness of different security activity. Now, another challenge come with the Agile and the DevOps. I won't go into details here. As you can see, there are many stuff going on with Agile and DevOps. I think it's suffice to say that for Agile, it's not only a new methodology, but it's also a cultural change for both Agile and DevOps. For Agile, there are some very important principles include iterative, fast feedback loop, small cross-functional team, and also there's some other principles that I don't remember. Oh, another one is the working product and small incremental change. Those are very important principles for Agile. For DevOps, they stress the importance of continuous integration, where once developer check in, it will be automatically integrated with other components, modules through the continuous testing and the continuous delivery. The impact for security is, as you can see, for Agile, the release cycle is much shorter, 2 to 3 weeks. So if we still use the old mindset to do security for Agile, we'll find our time is really limited. So this is, so the main message here is we are faced very short time to do security, and also, but at the same time, I think there's also an opportunity through automation, which I will talk about later. Yes, sir. Sure. Right now, we don't have a bug bounty. We did acknowledge some security researchers that identify security issues in our product. But you're not actively soliciting it? No. That might change. Yes. Yeah. Let me drink some water. As a security engineer, I never talked so much before. Okay, now I'm gonna shift gears and walk you through 2 case studies to show you how 2 security issues were resolved in the real life, real world. So let's do some code review. In this case, we have a function called hash password that takes 2 inputs, salt and password. I will just walk the code here, and the final question is to let you point out the most serious security issue that you can identify. The first person can identify issue will get a small gift. That doesn't include 3, good, because 3 already saw this answer before. Okay, there may be several minor issues, but I want you to point out the most serious ones. Okay, so at line 1, the function name has password. Line 3, we create a digester shaft 512, and from line 5 to line 12, basically we make sure the sort and password are good, are present. At line 13, we do a first decode sort, then put it into the hash buffer. Then basically we add a sort to the digester. At line 14, we turn password string into a byte array. And to line 16 to line 20, we do 1,000 round of iteration and put the password byte array into the digester. And then finally, at the line 21, we encode the hashed password byte array and return it as a string. So the question is, what's the serious issue we can see here? There's a hand. Yeah.
The fact that you're returning null on line 11, so you would actually have like a null string ultimately, and then theoretically you could leverage that to, like, so you could pass in like no password ultimately. So if like you have another function that's relying on the hash password, because you return null, like it's effectively you're not creating a password at all.
In this case, basically means whenever the password is null, yeah, you will return null. But it is checked somewhere else that make sure this is not an issue. But good point, but that's not the most serious one here. There's a more deceiving one here, if you can see. I can give a hint, okay? Someone between line 16 and line 20. There. Do you see the impact? What do you think is the impact of that resetting? Well, the idea of iterating is to make the hash stronger. Yeah. Okay, that's close enough. I'll give this one to you. It's premium key holders that just got from a security conference. Yeah. The problem is the reset here. The sort is cleared. So although from the parameter you can see the sort passed in, and if any auditor or co-reviewer just do a quick glance, you'll see, oh, looks good, you're using sort. But actually, because the developer accidentally called it reset, the sort is actually not used. If you look at the hashes of the password, as long as the passwords are the same, the hashes will be the same. So do you think the quick code review can identify this issue? Probably not. It depends on the experience and the attention of the code reviewer. Do you think the static analysis tool can identify this issue? Probably not. And so this issue impacted one of our applications. That means the user passwords are hashed without sort. So that means we are susceptible to rainbow table attack. It was introduced in 2011, and it wasn't identified until 2013. It's not easy to fix because you cannot just simply rehash the password, right? Because you don't have user passwords. You don't have the original user password. You will have to wait for a user to log in or somehow force the user to reset password in order to fix this issue. So it's a pretty nasty problem. Now I'm going to talk about the second case. So this one is related to LDAP. It's an LDAP empty password vulnerability. I don't know if you're aware of this vulnerability. In LDAP RFC, there is an authentication mechanism called unauthenticated authentication mechanism. Anybody know this? Unauthenticated authentication mechanism. So basically it means if user put in the username but empty password, And if the application doesn't check for the empty password, they may be about to log in. I see some face turning white. So you may want to, if you're not checking this, you may want to go back and check your application. This means basically anybody can log into your application. We identified this issue. I forgot how we identified it. So, but we did need to do a customer notification on 2014, March 17th. As part of the response process, a security testing case was added. Then, I think 7 months later, another developer who totally was unaware of this vulnerability made a check-in that reintroduced this issue. That was on October 8th. Then the second day, QA R, I would just use R here, noticed the test failure due to the security test case failure, and notified the developer on the second day, and the same developer fixed the issue on the same day. So I really like the dynamics of the conversation through the Jira tickets. So I took a screenshot here. I will just, probably people in the back couldn't read it. I will just read it here. So QAR notified the developer B, said, could you please take a look into this? I took a look at your change in build 6045, but not sure if your change caused the failure. Thanks. And developer B responded in less than 1 hour, said, yeah, it's my fault, working on a fix. And less than 1 hour passed, developer B said, you can successfully authenticate through something with no password, thanks to this one. So he was not aware of the issue. Then 2 minutes later, he made a check-in. So the point here is comparing these two cases. While the first one, it took like 2 years to fix and detect the issue. In this case, in the second case, it took less than 2 hours to fix it. So I hope you can, as a matter of fact, this issue was not even created as a secure vulnerability. Hadn't I came across accidentally, I probably would have never known this security issue. So I think this is the way we should do security. We should there should be no surprise, no drama, and instead it should be fast, accurate, and scalable. So even close to boring, right? If you have a security issue, ideally it should be detected by test case, and the test case will make sure that issue will remain fixed over time. Chester.
Similarly, we've had a lot of the same experiences. We use Agile a lot in our development as well, and building test cases for certainly all the mistakes we've made in the past so that we're catching them again when they recur like that, but we're also starting to go through other people's public bug reports and build test cases on their failures instead of waiting for ourselves to fail. So we'll see things in our own Twitter feeds going, oh, did you see what just happened to WordPress with their issue with their PHP login bug? Let's write a test case for all of our products that use PHP and the login mechanisms to ensure that we don't have that same thing. Gosh, that would be embarrassing. We hadn't thought of that. So we're starting to create test cases not just from our own failures, but trying to use other people's public failures or bug reports in open source software that's similar to what we have to help our own QA processes get developed as well.
Yeah, essentially you're learning from other people's mistake. Yeah. So that's really great way. Yeah, it's a good point. CSR token. Those things, those controls should be validated. So as a matter of fact, I want to go a step further to say, whenever there's a secure control, there should be corresponding security test cases. One point I want to clarify is the difference between security functional testing and security scanning. For security scanning, I mean those security static analysis, dynamic analysis. The main difference is security functional testing is more targeted. So you know what code you want to test. And you write test cases to explicitly validate that logic. And for security scanning, it's more like you cast a net and shoot in the dark in the hope that you can catch some issues. So as a result of this different approach, that means security function testing is more accurate, it's faster, and secure analysis is usually has a much higher level of noise, and it's also slower, especially for the static analysis scan due to the memory consumption. It doesn't necessarily mean they are mutually exclusive. They are really complementary to each other because they are designed to detect different issues. Security functional testing is more suitable for detect issues in your business logic, in your application, while security scanning is more suitable for like the OWASP top 10 cross-site scripting, secure injection issues. Make sense? This is my 8-year-old boy counting his Halloween candies. As a responsible parents, my wife and I, we rarely, after they get back the candy, they will put it in their drawer. This drawer belongs to Danny, my son. And they will also put the candy in the plastic bag. So every day after supper, he will take one candy and eat it, then just admire the rest of candies. He knows all the candies by his heart. He knows the type, he knows the number of candies. So if his siblings steal any of them, he will know immediately. So why I mentioned the kids and candies? I want to say security controls to us should be like candies to kids. Should be like candies to kids. So we should identify them. We should know how they work, how many of them. We should test them in order to know whether they're working. And also, we should monitor them. This is really, to me, is an advanced step. By monitoring, I mean we should know if they are under attack, if somebody is probing our security controls. In the latest OWASP top 10, I don't know if you're aware, there's a new entry called A7, insufficient attack protection. The main question asked by that control is, does your application detect and respond to both manual and automated attack? Because very often our applications are pretty dumb. Even someone is continuously probing our login, for example, login control. We don't know about it. And this is also why in early Verizon DBR report, I said, I suspect the actual count of web application attack is lower than what they are because the lack of visibility we have here. Maybe a quick show of hand. Who just want to see if your application can detect this among the audience? Could you raise your hand if your application can detect this kind of application level attack? Okay, Chester, how do you do it? Okay, can you share?
I mean, it depends on the types of attacks you're necessarily referencing, right? But certainly things like authentication forms, detecting brute force type things, and triggering an action based on detecting that known thing, or looking at something that's injecting something into a field that's an invalid value, and that happening say more than once, or variability to it, or things like that. But it's completely dependent on the application, right? Because some things are web apps, some things are fat clients, and it's a lot harder to detect anomalous behavior, I think, with traditional, say, Windows apps from the standpoint of authentication and stuff, because it's all handled by the operating system. It's obfuscated, right? You can't tell that somebody was attacking Windows before they got in, whereas in a web app, you have a lot more vulnerabilities, but also opportunity to discover sabotage.
Yeah. So for detection, will you get alert? How will the detection will happen?
It's going to depend again on products, right? So in our cloud products, that's going to alert our SOC.
Okay, that's
because we're concerned, and then we decide whether that's something that impacts a client, and whether we need to notify the client, or whether that's something that was an attack against our own infrastructure and we need to respond, which would be different than perhaps, say, an appliance, which has a web interface, where that's going to be controlled by policy. What do you do when there's X wrong password attempts? And what do you want the failure condition to be if this alert goes off about an attack condition? Some people are happy to ignore it because they don't want unavailability of service. Other people want all things to stop and pagers to go off, right? So it all is going to depend kind of on the type of environment again, right? But I mean, there's a huge array of choices, and I think in our old apps that haven't been modernized, we depend on SIMs to consume our logs and let the customer make decisions that way, where in modern apps like cloud-based apps and more things like that, as we're developing new things, we're building those controls in and giving customer policy options.
Yeah, yeah. In order to be able to pump the log to SIM and trigger alert and let customer to configure it, first thing we need to know is which control we should monitor and what kind of special log we need to generate. So this is why we need to know our security controls by heart. Okay, I think it's a good time. Next, I'm gonna. Yeah, sorry, there was one last question.
I guess on the monitoring side, I think the generation of sufficient logs itself would be a security control that I think that the development should have into account from the design stage to facilitate monitoring, whether it's externally through SIM or internally by the application itself. And generalizing that, I think if the, I guess, terminology is shifted from security control to security requirement, then I think the topic of security functional testing becomes really just part of quality assurance testing, because you've identified security requirements as part of just your overall functional requirements. And I think that would be the end goal, is to have security just be part of quality assurance. Yeah.
On your first point, yes, logging should be also part of the security control.
Yeah.
But in order to log the right thing and have the right level of logging is where we secure engineer can help.
Right.
And on second point, that's what I'm going to cover for the second part.
Excellent.
I'll comment on it, even though I'm not presenting, but we're just about to go to break. I'll come to you in just a second. I'll hand you my mic. Another thing is not just that logging, but the integrity of it.
Yeah.
Right? Because especially in our case, at least with our products, and it's probably the same for you with having security products, if someone's able to compromise our product, the first thing they want to do is erase the trail that they did it. And because we're a security product, we're probably more targeted for those style of tampering than you might get in a normal software application, right? And because the customer's depending on us to protect them, and so they want to erase any evidence that they've tampered with the security product itself.
You might talk about this in the second part, but I'm kind of interested in your thoughts around how security tests differ from general QA tests. Because to me, security tests include a lot of negative tests. So entering the right password lets you in versus let's enter the right password without, let's say, lost character. Will that let me in? Will the system let me in without the password? Things like that.
Yeah, this is good. I'm going to cover in the second part. And if that didn't answer your question, feel free to ask me again.
Yeah, hire a lot of deviants in QA. Do we want to take one more before we go to break?
Oh, there was one more question.
So, I mean, if you're starting with user stories or use cases, you should have a set of misuse cases as well. And just as you would have functional tests for your use cases, you should have functional tests for your misuse cases.
Yeah, and I understand that my kind of curiosity. Sorry, I understand that my curiosity is around. To me, those misuse cases, you'll have much more of those than the regular use cases, because you can try to misuse the system in so many different ways.
So that becomes a risk-reward trade-off, right? So you want to hit the low-hanging fruit, or those things that are going to have the most impact to your application and your end users, and then you're going to have to draw a line ultimately somewhere.
All right, well, let's take our networking break. We'll start back up at 25 past the hour, give you a little bit over 15.